This is my first live. Thanks for tuning in. We have a very special guest today. His name is Mauta Taki. He's a Maori elder. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I can do that. I can do that. Um, I'm just checking that do we have people in there? We can see. Can you see on your side? We're all good. 5 by 5.
I see Tamaake in there.
Okay, is in there. Okay.
Mary. Hello, Mary.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I know the Hunas know me, but for everyone else tuning in, my name is Huna Mauta Kumara Taki. Um, I'm from New Zealand. Yes, I'm born in New Zealand. I live around the world and have done for a long time. So um, this is how come I'm able to be here and everywhere, and that's how come I met Katie. We're so busy and so active. So it's awesome. Yeah, I remember when you first opened your YouTube channel and there were 24 people in your subscriptions. Yeah.
Yep, I have a few more now. Thank goodness. So I'm so grateful for everyone who's tuning into my journey, and I hope to have a bit more content coming out soon. So, but this is a good way to kick things off with Mauta Taki. I would just like you to. I know you have a couple important missions in this lifetime. Can you explain some of your missions?
Yeah. Let me just make sure I'm not just don't want to get a bunch of echo going. I think it's yeah. I've got a few. I've got a few missions. The I think the most important one, and I just kind of want to share this with everybody. We are the guardians of the Stargates. That is everybody, everyone who are um, everyone who is allowing, right? Everyone who is allowing the connections to take place, right? I'll try to be, keep things really simple. And so the missions of the Stargates, they're not just external, they're internal, and meaning they're inside of you, okay? Quite simply, I think that's everybody's mission, right? And what do I mean inside? What do I mean Stargates? I mean connections to your higher self, connections to the higher vibrations. And there's a guarantee of this to guarantee. I look like I'm talking into this crystal, don't I? It's like a microphone. Sorry, I just got on like I saw a squirrel. And yeah, and so these stargates, we are guardians of the higher vibrations, of the higher frequencies. We are bringing that to this planet. We are transmuting and clearing it from the old world, the old earth, if you like to say. Lately I've been saying the tale of two worlds. Yeah, and it is almost it's almost like a tale now. It's almost like a legend. It's almost like a myth. Old earth is like a myth. Yeah, of course. If we talk about the many earths before this fifth dimensional and fifth density understanding, then the stargates internally and externally of us all have brought us into this the tale of the two worlds, which meaning that the new earth is also some kind of mystery and some kind of tale and some kind of dream. From where we have come from was also a dream, right? It feels like that, don't you think? And my mission certainly is to remind as many as I can, and by sharing the information. Sometimes I'm over the top of people don't understand me. Sometimes I'm so weird, right? I just happen to live I live in the tale of two worlds. I live in that dream world. I absolutely do. Is that unrealistic? My mission is would be the mission impossible. My mission is unrealistic to many. Reality for me is in the tale of the two worlds, is in the dream time. That is my world. Um, and I would just, uh, we have effect on it. We have an effect on, if you like to say, this reality, right? This world, this third density, we have an effect on that. And so the mission overall, I feel that we all have interesting access and interesting effects on it all, on the tale of the two worlds. You, everybody watching, those who are remembering, you are somewhat of a tale, you are somewhat of a myth, and you are somewhat of a legend. You are somewhat of a legend, right? Yeah, she's becoming legendary now. You're all becoming legends. That's the things that you've been doing, including what I've been doing. We're all doing very similar things. We are all at a variety of, let me say, levels. There are still levels, and I don't mean better than each other, better than anybody, king or queen. I mean there are levels of capacity of which certain people can withstand and be able to integrate. Yeah, and it takes time for the integration. That's why there's levels, right? And so the tale of two worlds and this the mystery school and the beautiful legends and the stories of old and the stories of new. That is what there is. That is beyond the mind. This is so far beyond the mind. Get rid of your mind. Lose your mind, right? Lose your mind. What is the mission? The mission is to lose your mind. There is some rationality to your thought, and that's fine. You get the keys, you open the car door, you get in the car, and you drive. Got to be somewhat of a rational person to operate such a dangerous implement, right? That's okay. I'm not telling you to not use your brain, but what I'm saying is the mission is a unification, and that's what I'm working with. That's what I'm working on, and I do that in a variety of ways. Yeah, certainly the Stargates is one of them. The seal of the living light, the seal, um, which maybe we can touch on, which is an activation, initiation, a polishing of the headlights in a sense, and an energizing. We can talk about that more. And so, I always used to say that was the most important mission for me, was to provide and implement and administer the activation and the initiation of higher vibration energy, vibrations of magnetics and frequencies. That's ultimate. And then the Stargates are also ultimate because I require those access points. I work with those access points. I have to continuously refreshing my screen on that. You know what I mean? Keep refreshing the screen. I invite you all to continue refreshing the screen and to continue on, to continue. That was a whole lot of junk I just threw in there, Katie.
That was awesome. I just want you to clarify in your words, what do you define as a Stargate, just for our listeners?
Okay. Stargates are not necessarily, in my understanding, for transporting vehicles, products, and services to and fro, right? Stargates, and I see those as being portals. Stargates are of the utmost highest vibration that is, and this is where we are in the tale of the two worlds. The Stargates, in my understanding, is the guardianship of the highest light of the child's light, or the child of light, or we used to say the children of the sun, where those Stargates are at the utmost importance for those children's or those souls or those spirits to enter into the system here into this density without interruption and without any negative forces placed upon them. Now, the old system, the old earth, the tale of the two worlds, that used to happen in abundance, and it kind of still has a little bit happening, but this is what the work is, to clear those out. And those particular stargates, in my understanding, there are 48 of those, are specifically to assist the new birthing system for the children of the sun, the children of light. Okay, we can go into a lot of this. This takes quite a lot of, not explanation, storytelling, sharing the tale of the two worlds. So those stargates are of a very important grid, and so I can kind of just close the gap on it a little bit here for the understanding and clarity, is that this particular grid of these stargates that I am working with are all about the new birthing system, and the new grid, which is the Motu grid. Now, this particular grid has a reflection of the constellation on the earth reflected to the constellation in the celestial. They match each other. Okay, let me say that again. This particular Motu grid and the stargates aligned to them, aligned, must be in alignment, and actually not just alignment. They have reawoken and reactivated the terrestrial constellations in alignment to the reflection of above into the celestial constellations, and the languaging is of Lemuria. Okay, and I said it again, the languaging for it is of Lemuria. Everything from post-Atlantis had become distorted light. That's not a judgment. Yeah, that's stuff that's happening in the tale of the two worlds. We close that gap on it in the tale of the two worlds. And the tale of the two worlds is we are going from distorted or not so clean and pure light, much like the headlights on your car. If you do not clean them, right? Even if you drive around with one headlight, that's you're going to have problems. And the tale of the two worlds is that clearing of your pure crystal light and cleansing, so that the undistorted light becomes, or in other words, the Christ light, pure Christ light, is polished and recharged. Now, you say you can do that yourself. That's fine. That's being tested right now. In the tale of the two worlds, you are being tested and challenged, and you know this. I know that you know this. I've been watching what you've been, not you in particular, Kamawaha, but I've been watching what society and civilizations have been posting on all the social medias and what they're saying, what they're proclaiming. Okay? Yes, there is guidance needed here. There is support. There is technical support for that, right? In the tale of the two worlds. And so, as I speak about these particular stargates, the difference between these stargates and a portal, that when you do interdimensional travel and these things, kind of like the astral field, where there's a lot of magnetic flux happening and a lot of distorted magnetic energy within those fields, these stargates are not in those. These stargates are not with that system. They cannot be sullied, can I say, soiled in that field. They must be in a highly protected pure crystal alignment light. And these particular stargates, including those constellations I was talking about, are aligned to them, so that the child of light and the children of the sun, if you'd like to say, or the sons and daughters of God, if you'd like, however you like to say this, that they have the highest, the most intense and incredible potential opportunity, potentiality to come through with their highest light as they're coming through the field. They don't touch the field. They go straight to the Christ light on the way in. It never used to always be like that. But then again, in the infinite, it did. Let me just say, Okay, these Stargates we're working with, they are a particular high valued property, and they are being we are guaranteeing and ensuring that they remain at the highest vibrations and frequencies above 12 dimensions. Okay, above the 12th dimension, into the 13th dimension and higher, which is the harmonic frequencies. Okay, more on that. But in the tale of the two worlds, these Stargates are the tale of the new world. In the tale of the new world, you know what I'm saying? Did that make sense?
It did to me, but I can help if anyone has trouble understanding. I can help clarify in a different perspective. But I wanted to share a story of how I actually met Huna Flash that ties into the Stargates. So, as if people don't know, one of my missions in this lifetime is to resurrect an ancient plasma ship that we're coming back into resonance with. And Spirit, my guidance, was telling me to refamiliarize myself with the Stargate system. And I was like, oh, how do I do that? And of course, Spirit's like, the right person will cross your path. I was like, okay. So I got guided to go on YouTube and watch this YouTube interview. And it ended up being Huna Flash and Tara by Janine. And the minute I watched it and connected, I was like, that's the guy. That's who I'm supposed to learn this information from. And I was in the US at the time. And when I entered the US as a Canadian citizen, we're normally granted 6-month visa, tourist visa. And at the time, the immigration officer gave me the oddest date. It was like 7 months and 1 week. And it ended up being February 3rd, 2022. That was my maximum date for my visa. And Spirit was telling me at the time, take note of that date. That date's really important. So I was like, okay, I know something's up with this date. There's going to be something important that's going to happen around that date. And so time went by. I had to plan to depart from the US, and I had the intention to move down to Mexico. And so at the time, I had already reached out to Mauta, and we were in contact. And a week before I was meant to depart the US, I call him up. I'm like, Huna, I don't know where to go. Like, I kind of want to go to the Pacific coast because I surf, but I might go to the East Coast. I'm not too sure. I just have to be out by February 3rd, 2022. And then he goes, that's my birthday. So, as I shared before, I live my life by the seat of my pants. And these things, I'm guided in these ways through the 9 senses. And so our coming together was a very spiritual, guided episode. And as soon as I met him, I was like, obviously I need to go spend some time with him. And so I was down in Playa for a few months, which was amazing. And I did my seal. And for those of you who are having a hard time understanding what a seal is, from my understanding, and you can correct me, Huna, if I'm wrong, but when we are birthed into this reincarnation, we come through the portals. We are crystalline by nature. We're water-based crystalline, our field. So we're imprinted with these distorted codes that come from the draconian groups, any kind of distortion that's outside of the resonance of the earth, out of Matea or the planet frequencies. And so when we are imprinted with this distortion, any kind of frequencies that are incoming, because we're like literally walking antennas, and anything that's antennas and receivers and broadcasters as well, and anything that's incoming goes through this distortion and it's scrambled. And so our consciousness will spit out distorted frequencies. So for example, when I'm in telepathic communication with my Andromedan contact, Auntie, the names of planetary systems, of star nations will be a certain frequency and sound. And if you have this distortion, those frequencies and sounds will be different. So that's where you have a lot of people naming planetary systems and star nations with like more Greek, Hebrew, Latin kind of sounds, which is distorted light. If you take away this distortion through what Huna does, he clears this distortion from your field, and he's been trained to do this by the ancestors, the Lemurian ancestors. He's done it in the past reincarnations. But once he clears this, you'll get a straight communication of the proper undistorted light codes that are coming in. So once he did that for me, I was able to, the sounds that were coming in, like the people of Apakai, which was what the Andromedan group is actually called, these ancient sounds and frequencies are stemming from Lemuria, which is when we lived amongst star nations. And if you look at the indigenous languages, these undistorted codes is a good clue to, if you're getting these words come through that are based in these languages, which are subtribes of Lemuria, that is undistorted light. And so, you know, any of these newer frequencies like Hebrew, Latin, it's all post-distortion, post-Atlantis. So we're going back to these ancient languages, and these ancient languages are extremely important, all the indigenous subtribal languages, because they are based off of undistorted light, and stems from the history with when we lived amongst our star nation brothers and sisters who were living amongst us at that time period. So this is one reason why the dark forces desperately tried to take out these languages through colonialization, residential schools. Like, kids were basically beaten if they were taught speaking their ancient language. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The seal is an opening of your channels and a clearing through the crown. Frequencies are input through your crown right down into the first dimension of your being, which is in the DNA. First dimension of your DNA. I know that sounds kind of what you're talking about. So right down into the depths, the deepest part of you, it explodes with light and then comes shooting back up from inside you, like a shooting star coming up from inside of you, back up through your crown, through the many dimensions to clear that whole channel. It sounds easy. It sounds like it's like, you know, just standing there and do a couple of things and it's done. And it probably could be, you know. But we also, as we're administering the seal, there is a reassurance. I apply a guarantee. I will apply pressure. I will apply the guarantee that it will be done. And so it is a very powerful, and some would activation and initiation and purification of your light. Polish it up, recharge it with more source energy, with the kaha, which is pure source energy. And that's, you know, also why my nickname is Huna Flash. I just flash the system. I will flash your system, and you will be more revitalized and more empowered. You will begin to put pressure on yourself, okay? You will put pressure on yourself, meaning you will empower yourself. You will let go of things. It's like a letting go, and it's a shedding of the skin to reveal your crystal skin, your crystal, or your organic crystal beingness. Yeah, at a very fundamental, very foundational level of your cells, your voltaic system, your nervous system, which is glass, by the way, and diamond glass, and so that is all part of the activation and the for the application of the seal, right? The administration of the seal. And now, seal is actually an acronym. Okay, it's an acronym. Seal is not seal like you seal something up and put it away and hide it away, or you seal something so it's blocked. This is an acronym for, SEAL is an acronym for Source Element Ascension Light. Okay, Source Element Ascension Light. SEAL, it's not necessarily some kind of Catholic seal that in the religious matrix seals. It is not a J seal. It is not an S seal. Seal, in our reference, is based and fundamentally based within the Kumara light of days, of the Kumara, the logos light of your energy. source, element, ascension, light. And that's how I refer to it. This is how I represent it. This is how I share it. Okay. You can take that any way you like. But that is the seal. I hope that helps cover the topic, the explanation, because it is a shedding of the old skin and a revealing of your organic crystal in another very simple terms. And these are the tales of the two worlds. Shedding of the old skin is the tale from the old world. Revealing the organic crystal of the new being of your being into ascended light is a tale of the new world. This is the tale of the two worlds, a small aspect of it. Okay, are you ready? And then the whole point, the whole thing is, again, I put the pressure on and I'll say, are you ready? And when the seal is implemented and applied, and I'm gonna ask you the question again, are you ready? You know, and more often than not, people are ready. People are ready. Some are ready instantly to take on and be empowered into their projects and their missions. Some takes their time. Some takes months and weeks. It all depends. Everyone's a little different depending on how much their consciousness is stuck in the matrix. Okay, how much the consciousness is stuck deep within the draconian world of the tale of the two worlds in Draconia. Are you in Lemuria? Okay, because there is the tale of the two worlds right there, the draconian world, which is Gregorian, or the Lemurian world, which is now in the age of Lemuria, guided by this planet Matea, the planet of new light. Now, where are you? Where are you? And if you're not here, where did you go? We're looking for you. And if we can't see you, we're waiting for you. Okay? No sense in hiding in the shadows under a tree or behind the bushes somewhere, because we're waiting for you. This is not unification, the tale of the two worlds. Yeah. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit cheeky. I'm very happy to be here.
The beautiful Lisa Schermerhorn, she just shared, I'm finding that since my seal, the jewelry I have been wearing from Damahur, which is based in Atlantis, have been falling apart. I don't feel connected to them anymore.
Yes, and Lisa, thank you very much for popping in and for the comment. And it's exactly right. I've seen crystals explode after a seal, literally crack and explode. And Damanhur, that we love Damanhur. I know Damanhur. I'm quite familiar with Damanhur, part of Atlantis. And of course, we need to visit Damanhur and to reinitiate the codex and the codes of Lemuria and introduce them back into Damanhur. We will be in Italy at some stage later this year. We do have Hunas in Italy. Okay. So whenever you're traveling there, let us know, Huna. Let us know. And thank you for that comment. And that's been incredible. I've seen some crystals, some beautiful crystals, just crack, explode, just fall off the necklace. You know, people's necklaces falling apart. And this is not an attack, okay? It's not an attack, people. And I know some people have also said, "Oh, Huna Flash, he'll attack you in your sleep." That is ridiculous. Let me just address that. I'm not, getting up on anybody here about this thing. But let me just say, source energy is very powerful. It doesn't go around transforming and transcending things just because it wants to attack you. It is something to get used to and integrate this source energy, kaha. I have to let you know, there are levels of intensity with source energy, with the kaha. This is levels of intensity, and that's what I mean by there are levels, right? There are such levels where crystals can crack and explode when they've done all they can with you for themselves and for everything that you've been working with. Okay, they've done their dash. Okay, that's just what happens. And if you feel like you're getting attacked, maybe you've done your dash too. Maybe you've done all you can, and it's ready for the next tale of the two worlds. Yeah. How's that?
Oh, and so just give us an idea. How many people have you sealed so far in your lifetime? Because you've been doing this for a really long time.
Over 20 years, and there have been thousands sealed.
Including
Thousands.
some indigenous chiefs, right?
Many chiefs, many indigenous communities over the years, 20, 30 years ago. Sporadically 30 years ago, but very intense 20 years ago, and nonstop in the last 20 years. Where are they? Where are they all? I can only tell you, once you get sealed, you either gonna come to a mission with me or you're gonna go off and do your thing. I'm not gonna certainly stop you. I'd like to be with you and check in with some of you wherever you are. And some of them were sealed 20 years ago. Hey, and I got better at it too, by the way. I got to understand how the delivery of this energy, because it was rising every time, right? It was many years of it. Took many years for this toko toko to show up. I didn't go looking for it. You don't go looking for this. When you're ready, it comes to you. And it's been with me for a number of years now, 10 years. Okay. And so there was 20 years of working with the seal and working with the many organic crystal beings and native communities all over the world with different elders and chiefs. And that's where my education was also garnered. I gathered up the education there. I sat with some very incredible elders and community members and leaders and friends and families. It used to be where I would go into the home to clear and cleanse the home through a protocol that I have shared with the Huna called the Waikara. Okay, that's working with the mother's vessel of glass and water. And I used to go in and clear the homes and bring the families out under a tree. I say to them, go and sit under the tree and have an ice cream. I want to go clear the house and the property, and I'll come back, and then I'm going to do a special blessing for you, which was always the seal, because the process was always the same login and same access. And then sometimes those families are huge, right? There's 10 to 12 people in the family, right? I'm under the tree all day long. And many families all over Native American communities in Europe and just all over Canada as well. I have very strong relationships with the Mississaugas of the New Credit, the Chippewa, with the Six Nations from east to west and north to south. And that's, I'm not bragging, but that's what, when you're in mission, that's what you do. Time flies and days don't matter. Focus and attention is what matters. And so the seal and focusing the seal and then focusing in on the seal, that is some pretty there's some pretty neat applications of where it's being applied today. Pretty incredible applications today. There was a time that the seal would be applied to the dragon energy, and it's like part of the source energy. But the dragon, the articulation of the jaw and the sounds coming from this body sometimes would be overpowering, and so there was always a wide opening of channel of energy coming through. Wham! And I learned how to command and control that dragon energy to bring it down into through a tiny hole, much like a high-powered pressure washer. When you put a 0-point tip on the end of a pressure washer, you can slice flesh open with it. I've been hit by it a couple of times, right? So I know. But that pressure now is being of the dragon energy be brought through a tiny 0-point hole, a needle, the eye of the needle, the eye of the whale, and it's coming through and straight into the beings to do the work for the seal, applying all that energy. And some frequencies have been introduced to ensure and guarantee that the system is being flashed, right? Flashed and flushed, right? And finished, and the finishing touches. Okay, so it has taken some transformations, and I'm so happy about it, that there is a maturity that has come with it. Yeah, a maturity. You know what I mean? Maturity and some wisdom and knowledge is shown through it. Okay, by me being patient and commanding and control the energies that I have access to. And I invite everybody to that understanding and that perspective, to have that ideal, yeah, command and control. It's not a weakness. It's actually an overabundance of power, source power. On call when you need it, on demand when you need it. Okay, can apply it when you need it, and these are different levels. So the seal has been around for some time. Thousand seals. I went all the way around on this one, but I mean, I just was reminiscing about this as you asked the question, and there was such joy. There is always such incredible joy. I remember the families, when I was so active with it, traveling around the world, you know, and it wasn't always in an airplane. It wasn't always on a nice, fast, high-speed train. A lot of times it was on a little clunker of a little pickup truck driving behind an 18-wheeler in a snow blizzard because I'm flying along in its draft, in a backdraft, so I could save gas. So I could save gas to get to the next ceremony. We did these things. I did these things in the snow blizzard at 40 below zero, driving from Toronto up through Montreal, up into Akwesasne and Ganasatagi, up to the reservations up there. You know where that place is? It's freezing cold in the winter. But I had just the most incredible experiences and fun, and I still have that today. It, every day, every chance I get to do the seal, even if it's on the Zoom or online, which I have been doing, it's incredible. And even when in person, absolutely, you know. And
What I'm what I'm
mhm.
truly blessed and grateful for, Huna, is that doing my seal, it's really changed my life because not only has it brought me closer to myself, but it's opened up this amazing community of support and what you've created, gathering of the tribes, gathering of the ancient souls. We're all coming together and we're going back to that tribal nature, which is so important right now. Because when we're alone, that's a place of vulnerability. But when we are together and connected through the quantum like this, we're untouchable. We're infinite, unlimited, and untouchable, and the dark can't really come near us. So it's just amazing because every time I go into ceremony, we do the protocol, the login, and literally we call in all the fractals of the Hunas. So it's just like, this is how we used to live. This is how our ancestors live. So, that's why these indigenous tribal ways were so powerful, because we were a strong unit. And together, that's amplified energy, pure source energy. So I'm so grateful for that, Huna.
We're grateful for you. You're spreading the word, sharing the information. All of you who here that have been connecting to Katie, thank you, and so grateful for you. Um, this helped my mission, you know, and I wouldn't, and I couldn't think of anything else better to do than continue on this path. Let this be the teacher. I would always say, let this be the teacher. Yeah. And allow that the teacher to come through there. Let this be the teacher, the missions, the connections, the unifications. Let it be the teacher. There's so much there to discover. When we come together in the ways we have recently, and the modalities and the tools and the ceremonial technologies that we have at our fingertips now, that just take us so far beyond just the normal brain waves. Take for so far beyond the mindsets of the trapped matrix consciousness in a matrix. We've cracked that. We've cracked that. That's been cracked open, wide open. Some from many different walks of life have been doing these things, but certainly can tell you the Hunas know how to do a cracking. They know how to do a cracking. They use the tools. Yeah.
Yeah, you taught us the tools to hit it with precision, transmute those codes. But yeah, the Vegas experience was amazing. And another example of, we were called to help clear some of the distorted codes over the land there. And I just messaged 4 of the Hunas, and everyone was like, I'm on board, I'm on board. It was just all the Hunas flew into this Truther Tour event Louis Herms was hosting. They were hitting up 22 cities in 30 days, but the last ultimate event was in Las Vegas. So I was asked to speak at that event. But also, like, I was being guided spiritually to help clear this distortion. So I messaged 4 of the Hunas, and everyone jumped on a plane. We all met in Vegas. And the whole group of us, we were just clearing energies the whole weekend. It was amazing. I'd say it was like the most magical experience of my whole life. And so when we actually get together and do this work, it's just mind-blowing what happens.
Yes, blow the mind, yet lose the mind. I invite certainly those who have just tuned in, and those who could be part of Katie's new audience. Very grateful for you. And this is about losing the mind, not losing control, losing the mind, breaking away the matrix, the cracking the consciousness matrix. We have many ways to do that. They have been doing it. The Hunas have been doing it. They're taking the tools. The Stargates are being prepared. This is also connected to your expanded extension, the light of the child who is to come, who you are connected to. More light, absolutely. And in this precise way, hopefully for those who are watching who are just new to this, that perhaps there is something here for you in your mission, and perhaps a memory can be activated. Perhaps you are remembering. If you're seeing the whales and the dolphins, then you are with Lemuria. Okay, you are with Lemuria. Of course, there's whales and dolphins all over, even Atlantis. But let me just say, at this time right now, you are with the whales and the dolphins and the cetaceans and the aquatic lineages. They are bringing you and reminding you of Lemuria. And then we have information to share to connect to that in terms of the tale of the two worlds. Okay, and I would like to touch on that some more. But if there's another question, do you think there's another question?
Someone was just asked, let's go back to that. We'll talk about Hawaii and the history of the giants, because I'd love to speak about the giants.
Yes.
That's becoming more and more important right now. But someone was asking an update on the Mongolia event. So do you want to share what your plans are and how people can support you in that work?
Yeah. Wow. Mongolia is a challenge. It's a test for all those who want to come to it and those that are going to connect into it. Mongolia is a ceremony, and Mongolia is an activation. Mongolia is it's a massive challenge. Okay. Of course, logistically, it's a challenge, right? So just in terms of the physical logistics, before I move into the actual thing itself, we've got to get from wherever you are to Ulaanbaatar, okay, which is the major city. And then we're going to get from Ulaanbaatar to a place called Dalanzaga, okay, which is another city. And that city is pretty much in the Gobi Desert. There's not too far from Dalanzaga, there's an incredible mountain. So we will be staging from Dalanzaga. Okay, we have opportunity of camels and yurts, and there is still some 4-star hotels. There are 4-star hotels. There is accommodations. There is food. There is support that is needed but things are available. Now, in terms of the ceremony itself, for many years, and I have to say that I have to bring the Bindi master into this, the high level Buddha priestesses and priests into this, which are Bindi masters of the Taoists as well. They're so well and learned. Now, the Bindi master and I, we tuned into what the lower dimensions was being, what the intention of the lower dimensions of Saturn were calling for. Lower dimensions of Saturn, okay? Just don't drop into Satan right now, okay? Just listen to what I'm saying. The lower dimensions of Saturn and Jupiter and also lower dimensions of many planets sent out a message that they will be releasing, and those dimensions will be releasing hundreds of billions of souls. Okay, but the first run and the first release, which is kind of like a test, it's kind of like a challenge, it's a kind of like practice and preparation. Is 21 billion souls will be released from those lower dimensions to who are ready for the love and who are ready for the light. They are ready for it. It's like being released out of prison. They're getting ready to release them from the dark places to receive the light and the love. Our challenge is for this 21 billion souls is to be able to receive them in a massive containment field with crystal light, and to help service and support them in a kind of a circular spiraling system through the stargates, through certain stargates that'll be utilized to help spin their light through. I'll share it with you this way. I know it's very technical. Ultimately, it's a tale of the two worlds, and ultimately, it's love and light. But I have to share with you the details because there is intensity here. Not to bring fear to you. You must have awareness of these things. As a practitioner, as a healer, as a person who is doing the soul retrieval work. Okay, this is soul retrieval work on another level, not just retrieving a soul. We have to process those lights and bring them to the light in a way. Well, I will share those details when you are on the ground with us, staging the system. But we have to bring them through. 21 billion souls have to be processed through a few times. So it's in, out, back in again. Prepare them and get them ready to be received through the womb. Okay, through a physical womb alignment that will become apparent and become known at some later stage. But to be prepared, because they're being released from those lower dimensions. If you don't know that, you know now. If you did know that, and we're kind of clear on it, I hope this brings clarity to you and you've been waiting for this. Maybe you have been waiting for this, right? That's what these particular stargates are all about. They're not just transporting the starships of highest vibrations, although that is what Katie is being tasked with. Certain vehicles of plasma light are being assistants to this. But just let me say, if you've been connecting into this somehow over the last 30 years or more, or even just recently, and you got a message from Mongolia, then this perhaps will give you some clarity. So the ceremony is to process 21 billion souls, to return them to light. And there's a particular way that they have to be handled in a very precise manner, okay? It's all about the guardianship again. It's not about needing to be protected. The guardianship is to ensure and guarantee the light, the child of the light, and those essences do return with full 111% integrity of their light. From when they were in the last time informed to now being informed again. They were here a long time ago and have not been here in a long time, and they're coming back. Hundreds of millions of years, hundreds of billions of years for some of them. Okay? That's a lot of source energy. Okay, let me share this with you. Mongolia is very important on that level of intensity. So keep that in mind if you're listening and you figure this, and maybe you know. Okay, so hopefully that brings some clarity. The timing on it it's going to happen in the Kiri, Ina Kirihi. Okay, it is going to take place inside Ina Kirihi Motu. Okay, now I'm going to leave it at that. For those of you who are in the tale of the two worlds, what's Ina Kirihi Motu? I'm not going to tell you what it is. You can go and find out about it. Okay, you're going to have to reach. You got to reach on it as a challenge. Nothing's not going to be handed to you this way. I'm a guardian of the Stargates. And maybe you already know what it is. For those Hunas, they know what it is, right? But for those of you coming from the tale of the two worlds, the Ina Kirihi Motu, there is no such thing as day or time, but that is a moment, okay? And that moment, I'll leave that for you to try to figure out and learn. And there's some ways you can do that. Some things we have that can share that. But I'm going to leave that challenge. And so during that moment, we will be standing on a mountain in the Gobi Desert doing this ceremony. I would like 144 Hunas on location. I would love to have 48 Hunas on location where I can set up 2 to 3 rings. 2 to 3 or 4 rings would be a great 2 outer, 2 inner rings. Whoa, that'd be awesome. Wouldn't it? Okay, so I want that, but I'm happy to receive what shows up. But to show up in that ceremony, you can't just walk in there. It's not just love and light and walk in. I have to guarantee your safety. Okay, I have to guarantee everybody's safety when I'm making such bold proclamations. I don't mind, I can do that. I can do that. Okay, and can you be with that and open to that? That is the question. When you open it and be with it and allow source light and source energy to come through, be ready to receive and receive it all. Okay, so Mongolia, very important on that level. And then, of course, when the time comes, when the preparations have been through, when we're all prepared, when we're ready to go, fully ready to go, hundreds of billions are going to be released into Matea, planet Matea, into the womb of the feminine womb. This is, why do you think there's a feminine rising? The feminine rising is to prepare the vibration in your womb for the child of light to enter. It's not about whether or not we're going to have sex or not, or whether or not we eat this kind of food or eat that kind of food. It's not about any of that. The consciousness will prepare the womb. Okay, there is knowledge and wisdom here. And you're probably going to tell me that, screw you, Huna. Whatever. Don't show up if that's your attitude. Because I'm asking.
I don't think anyone in this community is going to say that to you, Huna.
Well, I don't know. They do behind the scenes, you know. I'm just saying, it's serious joy here. Serious joy. I've always liked that term. And so I talk about Mongolia and this process in a very serious joy way, but I also have to guarantee this, and I got to guarantee the safety of you all. You will guarantee your own safety, of course. There's nothing wrong with an extra layer of security and understanding and wisdom and clarity to be able to stand in stillness, to receive the sound, and from the sound will come the knowing, and then from that knowing will come the action, and then it will be from the action back to the knowing, the realization and clarity, from that knowing back to the sound, and you will make the sound that carries the knowing and holds the action and bring it back into silence. And at that silent, certain 0 point level, the light will come.
There's a comment here that's really interesting. Morgan, she says, I have always wondered about the energies that cause those big deserts, Sahara and Gobi. This sure makes sense about blockages. So do you want to clarify that? Is this the blocks?
Yeah, you know,
is that causing these dead zones on the planet?
Yeah, there's the dissertations, right? We called them back in the day, we called them dissertation. You know, it's a word that I learned from the Bindi master, and he referred to this as the deforestation and the dissertations of certain areas, and that we were working to bring forth back the forestation through the fractal geometry of the fractals for life, returning those forestrations back to the deserts. This is part of that evolutionary stages process. Mongolia is from Lemuria. It's a Lemuria, third Lemuria. And then it is also part of what was second Atlantis. Actually, second Atlantis civilization of second Atlantis that got caught up in all of that distortion, and then you end up with deserts. And this is over millions of years, I'm talking. Okay. So there's processing that took millions of years. The same with Egypt, that process took millions of years with the dissertation and the deforestation of those areas, those locations, right? So this is releasing and bringing the souls into it. All of those light beings, all of that source energy is going to reforest, what do you call it? Forest, what's the word? Replant the trees.
Reforest, yeah, reforestation.
Reforestation, okay?
Damn English.
Forest. Run, Forest, run.
Well, that's in alignment with my future visions I've always had as a child, just like lush jungle, greenery everywhere, giant plants. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Some of these beings coming back through the child of light are planet engineers. They are planetary engineers.
That's so exciting.
They have within their knowledge and wisdom that are coming through, they are known as planet engineers. And I've met a few of them years ago, and they were flying through on their starship.
Mm-hmm. And I'd like to tie this back into the whales, because the whales are held so highly in regard by the indigenous cultures. They're considered ancestors. But the whales are super high conscious, multidimensional beings with full memory capacity. So they've been the temporary guardians of the planet while we wake up and take our seats. And now we're taking our seats. And so they're able to now step aside, but they're still assisting that action in that transition. So I was shown they've mapped out the entire ocean floor, and they're working in cohesion with the Galactic Federation, with our galactic brothers and sisters who are assisting us right now. So we're going to work in parallel with them when the time is right to clean up the oceans, rebalance the ecosystem, help to facilitate the rebalancing of the ecosystems, et cetera, et cetera. So I just wanted to tie that in to what you were saying with taking our seat as guardians, because that's what we're meant to be.
Well, of course. And they're not stepping aside. We are working together. Remember, what is Stargate number 18?
Stargate of the Whale.
Another access point to the higher dimensions, omniverses of the whales, the whale civilizations, the consciousness up and then beyond, from the Northern Cross and beyond into higher constellations. Okay. Now, so yes, the whales are not stepping aside, they're assisting. They're also starships, by the way. Mm-hmm. They are also vessels, containment vessels. Yeah? They are also in assistance to moving beings and light beings to and fro from the planet to the Stargates. Okay, they are also plasma beings. Okay, and so, but you're correct. You're absolutely correct, and that's why I say, if you are seeing whales and dolphins, good on you. Great. Are you ready? Are you ready? Huh? Kamawaha, are you truly ready?
Oh yeah, ready to go. Let's do this.
Because pressure is going to be put on everybody. That's for real. Mm-hmm. Pressure is being put on right now. Is it with joy? I'm going to make this as joyous as possible in terms of how I disseminate and offer information for you to utilize, and that information, and to utilize it in a way that it can be joyful. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's what's happening. You guys are doing this so much. And you guys are like all over now, man. You guys are everywhere, right? You're hitting it. My goodness, you know, the House of Huna in the United States, in Nashville, Tennessee, and in California, in Arkansas, in Atlanta, in Illinois, in Indiana, just all over.
We're just warming up. It's just a warm up.
Florida. You're just getting prepared. So I'm always going to say, and I have said for years, are you ready now? Can we go and do this now? We're waiting for you.
This is the boots on the ground.
You've been doing your thing. That's great. But can we just go and do this thing together, even if it's one time? Mm-hmm. Even if it only lasts for 5 minutes, it's done. Can we go and do that? You know? And then we go and eat. This is what the giants say. You want to talk about giants?
No.
Okay. Giants like to play with crystals,
Well,
all right?
maybe, maybe we'll do the Giants in another episode because we're a bit running out of time right now. So let's
Are we?
maybe wrap this
Yeah.
up because we don't want people to fall, after an hour, kind of lose.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to make it too long, but we can do the Giants in another episode.
And save the questions. There's some questions here. Maybe we can answer later in another thing.
Or we can just quickly go through the questions now. Well, there's no such thing as quick with you. But you're very detailed in your responses, which is awesome. But I do want people to know where, if they are interested in doing their seal, clearing these distorted codes from their field, they'll find that on your website, right? And it's $333 right now, the price of it.
Yeah, the price of the fee is there. Okay,
Yeah.
if you go to hoh.earth seal, it's right on the main landing page seal, and there's two what do you call it? Two types of fees. One is for online seal, and the other one is for in person. Okay, so just go to that, and then you can click in. Now, if you want to use your phone and you want to go to your phone and link into the website, it's hard to see, but there are 3 lines that when you hit those 3 lines, there's a drop down. This has been confusing. I have to change it somehow, and I will. I'm in the process of doing that. But if you're on your phone, you'll see 3 lines. Just hit that, and there'll be a drop down. If you're on your laptop, your computer, no problem. You'll see the whole screen. All right. I always say get on the laptop and do it because when you're dealing with your finances and stuff like that, and you're navigating those fields, you want to be able to see everything clearly. All right. So just do that.
And if anyone has any trouble, just write in the comments. I can guide you through it. So no problem. But yeah, I just want to say that, everything that comes into Huna, he's the most generous soul I know. It goes straight out to be assistance to humanity. So, some people might think that's a pretty high price, but it's an hour session and it's amazing. It's well worth it, and you're investing in yourself.
It is what it is. Take it or leave it. But everything does what she says, goes into being used. I have elders to feed. In fact, I'm going to the Stargate number 19 in South Africa next week. Those flights are phenomenal. I've got a wonderful group of elders from Africa, the Zulu Nation, the Bantu, the Tsutu, and then there's more being added on. I have to help feed those people. Okay, that's what I do. Try to and the Huna team as well. Try to do the best we can. So any funding that we can get through this way, that's what all that is being used for. I have a humble home. I live in a condominium near the beach, and I'm so grateful for the beach. So these expenses that we have go right back into everything to continue. And I travel every month, as you know, Kamoa. Every other month I'm traveling. Lately, I just spent 2 months in Europe, right?
You're nonstop. He's constantly working night and day.
Night and day, you are the one.
Well, I'll put the links if anyone wants to contribute in assisting with the Stargate activation in Africa, which is a very big mission. That's in about a week time. I'll put the link below for anyone who wants to donate a little to support that cause and support, the Huna's journey, because that's going to be extremely important in the planetary activation and moving forward. And also I'll put the link for the seals as well.
I will have information for Mongolia soon. Confirmation just of the date, but it will be done. We'll be back from Africa in a week. But thank you very much for sharing this information. Kamawaha, Katie, for you guys, Kamawaha to me, that's Huna. And I look forward to the next call with you. Yeah?
I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for coming today and sharing your wisdom with everyone. We went through a lot, so that was awesome.
Well, I mean, the tale of the two worlds is a huge story. So we got more to talk about as we go through. Not every comment or story or sharing here is going to make sense to everybody. There's a piece for everybody somewhere in it. And I look forward to talking more. Congratulations on your channel. You have 2,500 subscriptions. That's great in just a few months.
Yeah, I'm so grateful to everyone. It's yeah, I got to put out some more content, so that's the plan. And yeah, I'm getting a bit more comfortable with this, so
It's well deserved. That's a good start. The system works great, StreamYard. So thank you very much.
yeah, thank you for helping with that.
You're welcome.
All right, well, lots of wawa, lots of love to everyone who's tuning in.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a
Sweet
great
dear
day.
one, sweet dear one, sweet dearly beloveds. Take care of yourself and each other. Okay.